All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Amanda Folger. I apologize I'm late with this video. I'm always late with things, but we're all trying to keep up, aren't we? So for this assignment, we are talking about physical and cognitive development in young adulthood. I decided to go with option one for our discussion this week. Excuse me. And for the first question prompt, it says, give examples of your own thinking at one or more points in your life that reflected dualism, multiplicity, and relativism. So we go over here. After reading through our reading and looking at the different definitions, one point in my life of dualism would be when I got married very young. I got pregnant first, and in the culture and area that I was living in, it was wrong to get married out of wedlock. So for me and the father at the time, it was either right or wrong. We either got married and we were doing good, or it was wrong and we weren't. And that's how it was with both of our families. And in our head, since we were still children at the time, just 18, well, young adults at the time at just 18, it was one of those things where it was hard to think that authority was wrong at that time, because it's something that we both had grown up with. Moving along to relativism. So this is like so looking at different opinions, something that I noticed that this can be geared towards is learning about different cultures and branching out, seeing how other people live their lives and where their opinions come from and how their lifestyles have been built based off of those opinions and traditions and things like that. Excuse me. But if it's not something that you're exposed to, I don't feel like it's something that you're really able to learn or gain. And so until you grow, and as we usually do when we are 18 and older, we tend to travel and explore kind of to find ourselves and figure out what else is out there. So when I was 20, I moved from the state of Utah to the state of Delaware. I've now lived here for 18 years, and when I first moved here, I was completely shocked by the culture. It is much more ethnically diverse than Utah is, at least from the area that I was raised in, was a strong conservative Mormon area, and very minimal cultures, minimal opinions and ideas. It was all based around this conservative um religious Mormon culture. I don't know how to explain it, I'm sorry. But so moving here, I learned about many different cultures. One culture that I've gotten like very familiar with is the Haitian community. I've become quite close with quite a few people out here and made a lot of good friends. And so that was a culture that I had to learn about. And when I learn about my friends' cultures and things, I'm also able to get, that understanding of where different people come from. And especially when we talk about the religions that we've grown up in, my religion thinks completely one thing, and then her religion thinks a completely different thing. And so, but since we have grown, are able to meet at a common ground that we both have differences. At this point, I don't believe in religion. It's not my thing anymore. I think my younger years just kind of like demolished that thought for me. But my friend, on the other hand, she's actually continued to grow within her religion because it has always been this positive aspect of her life. So that's something that's different. Okay. Whoops, I skipped multiplicity. I apologize. Okay, so multiplicity. So this is kind of finding things in between. So for example, I put that authority figures when I was 18, preferably my grandpa and my step grandma. Also very conservative, strong religious beliefs. And when I found out I was pregnant when I was 18, 18 was a very like transitional year for me. So that's why this era, these points in my life stuck out with me with this. Um, so when I was 18 and I was pregnant, I still wasn't married at the time. I was also living on my own and taking care of myself. And my grandpa and my step grandma, were around, and they would constantly remind me of how I was using and abusing their tax money. And being 18 and only, learning from these people around me who believed that, I thought they were true. And it was something hard for me to challenge because, like, I knew that wasn't quite correct. And I didn't think I was in the wrong because I was being offered these benefits. But these authority figures that I, respect and have grown up with and have taught me so much are now, telling me that I'm doing something completely wrong, and I'm not sure how else to address that, you know? So those were, sorry, I went out of order, but those were the main things or main points in time that I could come up with. Um okay, so my transition into college was very different. So I am now 30 years old. I did not start, and I'm on my third year of college, so I didn't start going until I was 27, right before I turned 28. Um, I once again grew up in a conservative Mormon culture, and so once I got married young, it was my job to support my spouse in him building his career and his college education. That did not work out. And I needed to make sure that I was able to support myself and my children. And I decided it would be best for me to go back and explore my educational opportunities. So far, I love it. It's been fantastic, but that was a huge adjustment for me. Um, Not to share too much, but I have a full-time job. I have two part-time jobs. I'm trying to do college part-time, and I have my children 90% of my time. I stay very busy, and I was doing all of this before I even started college. And so it was a big transition, and it still is constantly trying to find time and fit things within my schedule. For example, I got a new promotion at work, which is fantastic. I love it. But I actually withdrew from a class because I had to make that balance and that priority um, to do that. Um, okay, let's see. If you were a helper with similar problems, how would you approach them? I don't know. I don't think I would really go back and reapproach anything. Um, unless I'm interpreting that differently. Um, if you were a helper with similar problems, how would you approach them? Hmm, I'm not quite sure how to answer that one. I'd love some feedback if you would like to share how you interpreted that. I don't think I would really go back and reapproach any of my similar problems. I mean, now I have a better understanding of what is right and what is wrong, so I feel like as a person's rights, and then also that there's gray areas depending on societal standards, culture, and all those other deciding factors. Thank you so much for listening to me rant on and for sharing the information. Thank you.